meeting of the Carroll County Commissioners to order. And we'll open it up for public comment, public input.
The answer to that is yes, we
You need to sign about
This is
that.
today, so it's just the agendas for today, in case you need them.
Oh, okay. Did I get one?
You have it?
Oh, I have one. Can you put it for the public there?
One was Dave.
You have it?
No public input?
What's the sheriff in for?
I think they have.
Excuse me?
What's the sheriff in for?
Because
We'll
we
find
get
out when he
all
comes
of
in.
this.
Okay.
I've been away, so I'm not sure I know. Okay, then we'll move into any commissioners' reports.
Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner Babson.
Jason contacted me and sent me a couple of pictures. The road again has had, in the last storm, has had some pretty severe washouts at the entrance that we didn't want to pave. Will and the boys filled it in. The next rainstorm, next day, cleaned it right out. So twice in the week we've had to refill it. I think that Jason's meeting with Brad Harriman Ossipee, Public Works Director, today to see what, if and what the responsibility of Ossipee is, because it seems to be coming down the road, their road, and washing it out. I don't know what the upshot will be, but it seems silly to me for us to continue every rainstorm to be sending the equipment out and filling it in and paying for fill, only to have it wash away. I sent a memo and the pictures to Steve Schmitt, who's chairman of the subcommittee for the jail, and he wrote back that we ought to consider putting it in the budget for next year. I think we ought to do something before then.
Well, we had it in our budget. Didn't we have that in our budget and the delegation?
Took it out.
Or the subcommittee took it out?
Yes. Yep. So that's something that we have to be aware of, that has to be fixed.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Do you have anything, Asha?
I just want to say last week, a new minute taker started, Mrs. Hamilton. I'm very impressed with the minutes. They are very clear, readable, and I received them very fast. I received them last week on Friday, and she did a good job.
I would like to second that. Ms. Hamilton came in early, and David and I both congratulated her for a very good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There was a nice article in the Conway Daily Sun regarding the cafe. I don't know if you saw that or not. Howie Chandler put that in regarding Rob Harris and the excellent food that's being processed or delivered and available for not only residents in the nursing home, but also the general public, which is a positive note. Go ahead.
Speaking of that, Dave, while you were gone, there was a letter to the editor in the Conway Sun concerning cold food at the nursing home, and it was signed by a gentleman in East Conway, and it didn't mention what the nursing home was. I called. He made two references since the corporation purchased it. I'm assuming it wasn't our nursing home, and I have since confirmed that it wasn't ours. And I called the paper that morning and asked them to put a block in or something that stated it was not the Mountain View nursing home that the gentleman was referencing. I also called Representative Umberger and asked her if she would call up and second my idea. I don't know whether she did or she didn't. And then I talked to over the nursing home. Howie was out. I talked to Becky, and she did something, and then told Howie when he got back the next day, and the letter was written that it wasn't our facility, And as far as I know, that still hasn't been published in the paper. Damon, can you explain why that hasn't been published?
It's got nothing to do with me.
Pardon me?
It's got nothing to do with me. Who did you talk to, Terry?
I left a message on her answering machine.
All right, it's between you two.
The taxpayers have paid a lot of money to build this wonderful facility we have here, and have somebody write a letter that it would appear that we're serving cold food. I had one representative called me and asked me what was going on over at the nursing home, and I said, go back and read the letter. Former commissioner called me and asked me what's going on at the nursing home. I said, go back and read the letter. And they both came back and
No,
said that,
this is the first I've heard that you have that concern. But you guys can write a letter and explain it wasn't their nursing home.
well, I think it does. I know how he did, but it hasn't been published yet in today's. I haven't seen today's paper, but it's Thursday, or Wednesday, excuse me. I would think that the taxpayers of Carroll County deserve some kind of explanation. I don't know what the journalistic ethics are, but I would have thought that when they published a letter, they might, if the gentleman writes a long letter and doesn't put in what nursing home he's referring to, I would have thought there'd been some
We
research
generally
done.
just don't, just from what I noticed, and I'm not in charge of letters, it just doesn't seem like you comment on letters. You just let them go as they are. Sometimes we ask people to edit them, but apparently they just go as they are.
Okay. Well, anyway, just for the people that are watching this meeting, it was not Mountain View Nursing Home that the gentleman was referring to.
Well, I want to say the cafe is doing a great job. They have good food there. The subs are wonderful, the soups are good, and the lunch is good. They work very hard there, the employees there in the cafe. And it's always nice and neat. It's very clean there.
Okay, over the weekend, I attended the annual meeting of the National Association of Counties held in Fort Worth, Texas. My expenses did not come from the taxpayers in Carroll County. It came from will come from the State Association in New Hampshire. At that conference, I picked up a lot of good information that I haven't had a chance to thoroughly go through. But one of the items that I had presented last week regarding long-term was looking at solar power. I picked up a brochure here, Solar Powering Your Community. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but that's there. The big item at the meeting was this setting a limit on the interest that is paid on municipal bonds. Counties throughout the United States are a little bit different than Carroll County. Some of them are responsible for roads, schools, hospitals, airports. We're not, but they are. But even with that said, we did use money from New Hampshire through municipal bonds. And the point is that Congress is looking at taxing that anything over 28%. Previously, there was no tax on it, and that's what the National Association is pursuing and wants all commissioners in all of the 3,000 counties to call their representatives and ask that they look at that and do not tax municipal bonds because it means a lot to the communities for infrastructure. Another item that I picked up.
Excuse me, Dave, while
Yep.
you're still on that subject.
Yep.
You mentioned that the federal government wants to tax over 28%. What are you talking about? 28% of what?
Of the interest. In other words, if they give you this money through municipal bonds,
Yep.
they're going to tax the people who have purchased the municipal bonds.
Right, it's now tax-free. What's the 28%?
It's now tax-free. Well, they're going to set a cap. They're going to give you a chance to reduce that taxes by 28, up to the 28%. Anything over that, you'd be taxed on. This is for individuals that buy bonds so that communities can improve their infrastructure. In New Hampshire, this is in, this was done February 2013. New Hampshire, 2.9 billion state and local governments, municipal bonds for infrastructure, which was done between 2003 and 2012. There were 94 state and local governments in New Hampshire that used those funds. And that's what was handed out. Every state got a copy of that. Another program that's going to be available is what they call the NACO Health Discount Program. This will be available to any citizen in Carroll County. It would cover vision, hearing, diabetic supplies, prepaid laboratory prescriptions, prepaid diagnostic imaging, LASIK vision, and so forth. It doesn't cover the full amount. It roughly covers up to about 25% of the cost. So anybody who doesn't have insurance, this would be a savings. Now, it's not a free one. I gotta go back and look again, but I think for a family of two, it's like $89 a year. And if you had to go and have your eyes checked, it would basically pay for it.
You can't get one eye checked for $89.
Right. So it's a pretty good program. We just need to look into it a little bit further. Another item I picked up was U.S. Communities is a purchasing group that helps all counties throughout the United States. There are 2 counties in New Hampshire that are members, and I think we should become members. I think it's Rockingham and Hillsborough. So we'll be looking into that also.
But for what is it? What
It's
is the
a,
purpose of that?
It's to buy items that we would use at the complex at a cheaper rate. It's a government program whereby they have gotten reduced rates from many different companies. Not all companies participate, so we'd have to pick and choose, but it's something that's, again, money saving.
Dave?
Yep.
It appears to be
That happens to be.
foods.
That happens to
Oh, it
be.
is U.S. food.
Happen to
okay.
be food, but it's,
Do they have one?
there's a whole
for-
list of things that's available.
There's no risk, no membership fee, and no cost, so why
Right.
don't we join?
Yep.
Maybe Commissioner Kenney would like to look at that.
What else? Health program. I attended many sessions regarding programs that were available. And one of them was leadership versus management, which was very good, probably one of the best given at the conference. I learned a lot. It was pretty much given by a 4-H program leader from Texas. Very energetic. He goes out public speaking all over. He did a terrific job describing the difference between management and leadership. Another meeting I attended was in regards to county administrators. There were several in the audience that did not have a county administrator, and there were some that did. The panel did have an administrator. They talked about the pros and cons of that, and if we ever decide to go for a county administrator, we need to identify exactly what the role is of that county administrator, what the term limits are, who they report to, who he or she reports to, whatever exit. Apparently, some counties have had problems, once they've hired an administrator, they've had problems because that person didn't do a good job. They had problems terminating that person. So when we have a contract, I've got a list of things that we look at to cover those situations. So, with that said, I still have a lot of things that I need to look at before it's brought to some kind of a motion to join or what. Let's go to the minutes of July 17th.
Yes.
Make
Anyone
a-
has any corrections?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of July 19th,
17th?
17th, excuse me.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? If not, all those in support of approving the minutes of July 17th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then so voted. Anything else to be brought up regarding reports or minutes? Do we have any
Yeah, I have some.
outstanding minutes to?
Yeah, I have some minutes here.
Okay.
I have the non-public minutes of the month of March 13, 20, and 27.
This one has the result of the vote.
You didn't put in here that these were sealed.
Which one?
Oh, both of them.
What? What did you say?
I said it wasn't in there that the minutes were sealed.
That's right. Want to mark that one the same way?
Is that true?
Yeah. And I think we talk about it also.
That you voted for it?
No, I voted against.
It says all in favor.
Yeah, but one opposed.
Well, it can't be all in favor then.
One is opposed. Okay, this probably should be here.
David,
Two in favor.
isn't this the meeting I wrote the minutes for?
Is that the one? I don't know.
I think it should be
Okay.
the other way.
Okay.
We need to take these up in non-public session. This
Yeah.
one here.
Okay. Oh, you got minutes sealed on that one. Okay, we'll take these up in a non-public session so we can discuss them further. All right, how about the minutes of July 17th?
We already,
We already did that. Already did
them.
that. All right,
That's the first thing.
okay. Then let's go to Dominic. Morning.
Morning.
Just one issue. The sheriff's office had a 97 Ford van that one of the past sheriffs bought off of Conway PD. It was their old detective van. When I get back, I was told it was down in Wakefield, parked, and decided to see if we can get it started and have Crowell's look at it to see if it was worth continuing to keep on the fleet. I've been told that it's not worth it. It'd be too cost effective against it to keep it repaired weekly or monthly. So he suggested either junk it or possibly put it on a Craigslist type for a parts vehicle.
Mhm.
He said it has a lot of very good parts on it, and you might get more money for that way. Anything we do get would obviously go to the general fund.
Yeah. What was that van used for?
It was a detective investigative van as far as,
Is it all marked up with
undercover
sheriff's
type.
department and everything on it?
no, it was an undercover type.
Okay. Any idea what the cost would be to repair it? Did he
didn't
give you
me
any estimate?
He was unwilling to put a sticker on it for one, so. He said it probably could get a sticker, but it may be in week after week to have something repaired. There is some rust and rot on the floor of it,
Yeah.
so he just said it, he'd be sinking money into it time after time.
Is it something the jail could use to transport food from the nursing home to the jail?
I'm guessing not. If he's not willing to put a sticker on it, I think there's maybe something a little more not worthy to put on it. I think he mentioned maybe the rear end might have some issues.
Yeah. Did you replace it?
No.
Has that vehicle
no,
been replaced?
No.
And
No,
it's been
we-
down in Wakefield?
Yeah, it was parked down there, as far as I know, since the last sheriff, a couple of years anyways.
Really?
So why was it parked
Commissioner
there?
Babson, had your hand up?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Why was it parked in Wakefield? Was it a registered vehicle parked down in Wakefield, and was Wakefield using it?
No, no one was using it that I know of the last couple of years.
Was it registered?
I don't think it was renewed registered since the last, I'd have to look at the records, because that was when I was not here, so.
Maybe it was parked next to the Humvee.
Could be.
So nobody
Go
was
ahead,
using it,
Commissioner.
is that correct?
Not in the last couple of years that I know of, no.
So it was actually only for storage then? They looking for a spot to park it?
As far as what I see of it, yes.
This type of vehicles, how long does it take that you have to replace it? Is it like every 3 years or every 5 years?
Now, typically, the cruisers, every 4 years, because they're just constantly running,
Yeah.
so the mileage runs up. but, and then you may keep one, or one may go to the jail during rotation out, if it's still usable, but anywhere from 4 to 6 years is their lifespan because of the mileage on them. Something like this doesn't get run every day, so it may go longer. Like I said, it came from Conway PE, which they bought brand new in '97. So, and I think the county paid $100 for it at the time,
Oh,
if I remember right.
so if you junk it, you get about $300.
That's what I'm guessing.
You think you could get any more through Craigslist?
John Crowell thinks we might be able to get more. It just depends on how long you want to wait. He's willing to keep it. Yeah,
We're not using
We
it,
didn't
it's
even
been
know
sitting
we had
there
it
for
within
2
a few
years.
weeks.
he's willing to keep it on his parking lot, you know, while we post it. And so, I mean, maybe it may be worth trying anywhere from 30 to 90 days on Craigslist.
Yeah. What's the thinking of the board?
Well, we don't lose anything, so if we want to try it on Craigslist, it's fine. If we change it for junk, I mean, we get $300, that's good.
Commissioner Babson?
I'd like to see it, we try it for a week or two on Craigslist or eBay, see if we can get rid of it that way. For more than we can junk it.
eBay, you would have to set up an account, I believe, and not sure if we want to do that just for one item. But again, we can look into that.
We got plenty of items around.
Maybe
here
there's
that we
other,
could sell.
yeah, maybe there's some other items that we need to put on Craigslist.
Is that a problem for you,
You
Shelley?
got it?
I just have,
No, seriously, is that a problem if we?
As far as setting up
we do-
eBay,
Or eBay or Craigslist, is that a problem?
Craigslist would not be a problem. That's just
Okay.
like Uncle Henry's, I believe. So.
All right, let's put it on Craigslist, or Uncle Henry's,
Yeah.
yeah. You had a,
There's
regarding
another
this?
site you can use that the state of New Hampshire uses, it's called Auction International. Many states put stuff on there it's a nice place to look that if we might need anything, because they sell like their gang mowers and stuff like that. They sell computers, they sell everything. So Auction International is what the state of New Hampshire is using for an auction. They usually run the auction for a week, highest bid, you have to go pick it up where it's located.
Okay.
Excuse
I'll
me,
look
Beck,
into
what
that.
was it, what is it?
Auction International.
Auction Internet.
If you're a buyer, it costs $10 to set up your account. I don't know what it costs to be a seller, but state of New York uses it, state of Vermont uses it, state of New Hampshire uses it.
This all done online, or, yes?
It's all online auction. And you can
Okay.
put up mixed groups. It doesn't have to be all one thing. You can put like computers and trucks and cars and mowers and desks and file cabinets and
And that may be an item, as you know, we have cruises that are rotating out, so they would put those on at the same time.
Mhm. Okay, I guess you get the feeling that we'd put it on Craigslist and look into that,
Auction.
Auction.
International.
all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Howie, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to your staff.
First of all, Becky up there.
Did you get the information you wanted from him? Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, as a point of information before we talk to you about the computer file, just want to be absolutely sure that the letter to the editor in the Sun last week complaining about food at a local nursing home did not apply to.
Yeah, yeah.
to-
Commissioner Babson talked about that in
Good.
the opening.
Okay, that.
Yep.
Now, with that, we come back to you with our proposal for software upgrade. We provide the missing sheet 8 along with a large print version of the proposal from one of the providers. There's nothing new that we have to bring to you with that. It still seems to us to be compelling that upgrading at a lower cost is more advantageous than buying new at a higher cost.
Do you have a question on that, since you
I
raised
just
the
had a
question?
question, Howie, on 8, the total is 19,900 roughly. And were there additional charges on top of that for point-click care?
There were,
I've got them here somewhere, but
Point Click Care had another charge for $9,700 for training, another $5,500 for their pharmacy module, and hardware costs, because they insisted on replacing our care tracker of 12.8. So on that comparison sheet, tried to make it all apples for what it would cost to get what's needed. And also included in that, Paul has also done a lot of renegotiating to balance out, to be sure that everything is included, and to balance monthly fees against capital costs, to keep those equitable between the three vendors. So with that being said, would still propose to you that the county go ahead with contracting with NTT for upgrading their existing system with a total initial cost of $38,390.
Any further discussion?
Yes, Howie, I had a question. I think I already asked you. No other county is using this upgrade. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So we're going to be the first moving forward.
No,
we have
this
upgrade.
is a system we've been using for over a decade.
Yeah.
So while nobody else none of the other counties in New Hampshire, to our knowledge, are using this, it's one that's actually state of the art at the time that the county got it 10 plus years ago, and it's still very well respected. The ones that's grabbing the attention of other counties is Point Click Care, and both Becky and I have looked into it from different perspectives, and we've come away with the same feeling that counties are doing it because it's become relatively, it's not less expensive than upgrading, but it's relatively affordable, but they're not happy with it. The installations have gone poorly, and those that have had it for some time tolerate it, but they're not excited about it. So it doesn't represent, it probably would not be bad, but it would not, we also expect that it wouldn't be nearly as good as upgrading what we have.
Okay.
And for how long is this going to last? You think the upgrade is for like 5 years, or?
The beauty of this web-based upgrade is that it'll probably be continually upgraded by NTT. So we're housing the data, but not as my understanding is not the software, so that it'll be, short of there being a new operating system coming out that nobody's expecting, this should have an indefinite life. Now, indefinite life in software terms is probably best talked about in terms of 10 years.
Okay.
So we're expecting this should carry us easily another 10 years or so.
And this company, are they doing the maintenance too?
They're doing both the maintenance and the education. So
Okay.
there's a training component, and they're also doing the upgrades.
It would also be true that these other companies would be putting in upgrades over the years as well as this company.
Exactly.
Yeah. Commissioner Babson?
I read here somewhere, it is a 3-year contract, right? I thought I read it was a 3-year contract when I looked it over.
What page?
36 months,
What
yeah.
page are you looking at?
That's the one with the legal terms on it, I guess. Says 36 months.
36 months.
I knew I saw it, yes.
Minimum.
And I believe, yes, it might be a 3-year contract, and then we relook at it and stuff, but we've had this company, so we've been paying upgrade fees to them and renewing contracts with them already. The advantage to going with something we already have is Paula already knows 3/4 of her system, so her training won't be so bad. The MDS coordinator is already using the program, so her training won't be so bad. The bulk of the training will be when we go into the electronic medical records in Mars. My HIM group's already been using portions of this, they can access it, so that's why we're hoping the training costs will come down after a year. and back to what we're using, back around where we're using for fees now that we're already paying.
Didn't, I gotta get the material you gave us out here, but I thought you said the training was included in that.
It is,
It
in
is.
the price. The monthly fee,
But it says here, training is at $90 an hour. Where did I just see it? I just read it.
we did that.
Training, standard, $90 an hour. Checked off.
Now, that's before Paula renegotiated in the unlimited part.
Is the $90 an hour just in the price? Is it building? Is it just a detail that costs $90 an hour?
Right. We added that for what we considered what we would need for training into our bottom line
Into our-
price. It's already in that 38,000. So,
Would you please say that again?
in the 38,000,
Right.
we calculated the $90 an hour price for what we felt was going to be needed for training. So that's already included in the 38,000.
Okay, so they are charging us for training, but we've built it into the
Built it
price.
in,
Correct.
but all of them charge for their training. If they have to come on site, we wanted some on-site training because it's been 10 years since anybody's been trained on the system and with the new web-based. After that, they offer all kinds of training that we can take, but it's web-based. You don't have to go anywhere. It's a webinar.
Okay.
You sit and you train yourself.
To follow up with your minimum term of 36 months, it can't, the contract can't be terminated within that time. After that time,
We can.
we can terminate the contract. Anybody else? Any comments?
You just mentioned the webinar training. Is that free? So everyone can take
Anyone can
that?
access it
Oh,
and
okay.
train on it. And it has all different components on it, it's just not one training. So
Mhm.
Paula can go in and train on her stuff, my MDS person can go in and train on her stuff, and the nursing staff will be able to train on their stuff. The other thing that's included in that price is that we have unlimited support. We can pick up the telephone, and if we can't figure it out after looking at a webinar training or something, we can actually get talked through it on the phone. So we have that kind of support as well.
And that unlimited support is good for how long?
It's in the 3 years,
The
that
3 years.
1470.
Okay.
Am I correct, we're renting this system, we're not purchasing it?
Well, it's a web-based system, so
Correct.
in terms, yes, you're renting it.
Because we could purchase it after 24 months, according to the purchasing option.
But then, yes, you could, but then you'd have to pay for additional updates and stuff. It's easier to leave it web-based and just pay a leasing fee on it, in my opinion. Because then you know you're getting all your updates, they're automatically sending them out and stuff, versus you having to say, well, we need an update now, and here's the cost of the update.
So much of this has to be integrated with federal requirements. Having the constant updates is critical to getting, for us to be able to get the reimbursements that we need.
Good.
I'm still concerned with the training portion here. Your total price is $36K. What happens if it requires more training? I mean, this is sort of a guesstimate, isn't it? How do you know how much training at $90 an hour is going to be needed that you built into the price for $36,000?
I believe that after that they had a webinar free online.
And since most of us have already used the system, that's what I say, it's a very user-friendly system. If I can, with my limited MDS training, go into the MDS side of it and print out and maintain the MDS program that we had while we didn't have an MDS coordinator, I think we've built in enough training. If not, we would have to build into our next year's budget to bring in. The only reason we're building in so much training is when you start going into electronic medical records and the MARs and the TARs, it does take considerable training on staff. But once we have trained people. You take a core set of trained people. They can go out and train the rest of your staff. So yes, we might have some general all-staff training, but as a rule, I'm looking for train the trainers. So we would have trained people that then would be able to train our staffs.
So how many hours in this $36,000 total price? How many hours of training do you have built in?
That's my buzzer. I didn't bring my phone.
You must have,
Have about 100 hours worth of
100
training.
hours. Will that do it?
I think so.
That should be ample.
Plus the webinar, free webinars, I think that's fine, because we're good at, like I said, we're gonna train the trainers, so that there are other people available to train.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Ready to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we contract with NTD Data for the medical record portion, or whatever you want to call it, for Mountain View Nursing Home. I'll make the motion for the purposes of discussion.
Okay. I don't see the bottom line here, the 38,000 on these papers. Is it the combination of 26,450 plus the 30,
Plus the 64 that's on the other page.
3,500.
And then the rest is training.
and the 6,440?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll second the motion. Any further discussion then?
Where is the, oh, there it is up there, okay. My only comment is that you three are the experts, as far as I'm concerned, on this type of system. I will vote to approve it based on what you've told us here. I don't personally feel I'm in any position to judge whether it's good or bad, but we need to have some system, and you people have worked on it, given us good recommendations, and it appears to be good numbers, so I will support it.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I had a question. We have to purchase this in July. Why again? Because there is a discount going on?
The discount goes away July 30th of about $50,000.
No, okay.
And again, they're doing that to their customers, just like Point Click Care was doing it to their customers to get us up and ready and running, so.
And my second question is, from which funds is coming again?
From the Dube fund?
So the whole amount is coming out
Not
the
the
Dube
whole
fund?
amount.
35,000.
What?
35,000.
35,000 is coming from the Dube fund?
We said up to
Up to
35,000.
Okay, I'd like to have the numbers in the motion. Where it's precisely coming from. So up to 35,000 is the Dube fund, and
And the rest is out of the budget?
Correct.
do you know which line item it's coming from?
We're going to generate some savings from just not maintaining the software we have. So if there's going to be adequate savings for the balance from current planned expenditures.
Hopefully, I won't have to buy any more fire cabinets for our medical records. And we might be able to offload some of the fire cabinets we have if we can get all the e-documents on and connect them with the resident records, so.
What type of file cabinets are they? Are they the narrow ones or the wide ones?
They're wider, but they have to be fireproof, and that's where the cost comes in.
Yeah.
They run anywhere from $800 to $1,300 a piece.
And we're required to safeguard the information that way. We have no choice.
Okay, all right. I'll call for the vote on the motion. We'll add in up to 35,000. You willing to do that?
Yes.
That up to 35,000 comes out of the Dube fund, and the rest comes out of our operating budget. All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's so voted. Go ahead. Thank you very much for
Thank you,
your
Commissioners.
Thank you.
presentation.
Is there anything else I can help you with before I take my leave?
What is the, are we full?
No, we had a death earlier this morning. We have a pending admission, so our adjusted census is 100 with a couple of admissions pending, but we've had 2 deaths in the past week, so that's, and also following up from a meeting yesterday that Primex held, a nursing home roundtable, in terms of risk management, they're increasingly encouraging almost a greater level of due diligence at the time of admission, something that might slow admissions by a day or 2. Their rationale is, and I agree, is that it's so difficult now that if you make a mistake at admission, whatever decision you make at admission is someone that you're going to be caring for potentially forever. So you need to be sure that we need to be sure that Mountain View is always the appropriate place for the person. This has nothing to do with residency or the other parts of admission, but just to be sure that it's appropriate, that we don't, in a rush to fill or a rush to please a physician or a rush to please the hospital, that we need to be sure that we are in all ways the best place for someone.
You have any idea what the average time would be?
I think with some planning, the most difficult time we have is when the hospital says we have someone and we want to bring them in today. Well, that might be a little too rushed for some of the due diligence that we need to do. So I'm hoping that we're talking about a delay of no more than a day from what we're presently doing. So it's not going to be extensive, but a day is still a day. But Primex really encourages us to do that due diligence. They can't tell us, but they do suggest that we do that due diligence, and I think they're right.
Anybody have any questions for Howie? No?
No, how are you doing? A good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners.
I have 2 bids to open, and this, I believe, is the auditing of our auditing firm, our financial firm.
So the RFP went out?
Yes, it
I
did.
never got to see the RFP.
Kathy Gary put it out.
Oh, she put it out?
This first one is submitted by Ron L. Blue and Company, Certified Public Accountants, 41 Bates Street, Portland, Maine. This is for the years ending December 31st, 2011 and December 31st, 2012.
So the RFP should put out for 2011 and 12, so 11 was not done.
Yep.
And we're doing, but what about a 10 then?
You know what?
2010, there was also no audit performed.
Looks like the final auditor's report would be due November 29th. I don't see where they give a price. Do you?
There. Page 13.
Oh, okay.
I've got a question about that, Mr. Chairman. The title of Financial Statement Audit Services, Estimated Hours and Fixed Fees. Well, a fixed fee is pretty well established here. Anywhere from $208 to $65 for the clerk. But they're not guaranteeing us a price on this job that I can see, because the hours are just an estimate.
But down the bottom, summary. Oh, that's just the fixed fees.
That doesn't mean, as I read it, if they, turns out that they have to do additional work, the hourly fee is established, but they can add that on. I'd like to find out whether that's their quote for the total job or not.
Okay.
Do you know if the county ever had this company, the Bullion?
Say that
Do you
again?
know if the county ever had this company?
Oh, I don't think so. But you can see they listed 93 different accounts that they have.
So, Christmas for you.
Yeah. Oops. This is auditing firm from Nashua, New Hampshire, Melanson, Heath and Company.
See here again, David. Proposed fees for our service are based on our anticipated time spent at our standard hourly rates.
Rates for this vary.
Oh, they do put in this one not to exceed.
Where does it say that?
Right above, page 19, right above,
Oh, yeah, I see, yep. Well, if we take on the first one, for 2011, it was 19,000. Theirs is 25,000.
yeah, but we have no
Well,
guarantee
it
that
might
that
be.
it's not to exceed on the first one either.
It doesn't say on the first one.
I didn't
Not to
notice it.
exceed, I didn't see it either. But they've also got single audit if required of 2250, so actually the financial statement audit would be at 23,000 versus 19,700.
They also say here that we realize the request for proposal states that John Lyford will prepare the financial statements to be audited.
Right.
Based on our approach to audits, we believe that this will not be necessary.
Yep.
So what are we paying Mr. Lyford? Right now, we can deduct that from the
Well,
cost of...
that's interesting because these people are supposed to be auditing Mr. Lyford. Which maybe what they're doing is they're not taking his financial statements, they're going back further and going through detail to make sure the figures that he came up with are correct versus looking at his figures and then going back.
We're already paying Mr. Lyford $15,000 a year for the preparation of the financial statements.
Mhm.
So now we're going to pay an additional $20,000 for a company like Mellison Heat
I don't
to come
think-
audit
Right.
the financial preparation
My
statement.
understanding is that we have to audit the auditor.
You know what?
It's a requirement.
Can you tell me which RSA that is?
I'm sure
Can you-
Kathy Geary can.
If I have, that would be good, because I've talked to a couple other counties, and they never heard of it. So if I have that, I can call them and tell them that.
Okay.
Like Belknap County, They told me that a financial director is doing all the financial preparation. And then they have one company, that is this company here, is coming in and they're paying only for this, the audit. That
This-
is the way the audit be done. With the other counties the same.
They're using this company?
They're using this company, yeah.
Okay.
But here is it like you have an auditor coming in and then you have another auditor coming to audit the first auditor.
The counties and districts that they have put in here as experience, County of Belknap, County of Grafton, County of Rockingham, and they got two water districts and a village district. A lot of schools, cities of Claremont, Concord, Dover, Keene, Laconia. Town of Madison. That's the only one I see in
Carroll County.
Carroll County.
What is a CF? CARF?
I would make a comment. I'd like Kathy Gary to look at this before we approve one of them, to make sure we can provide the information that they're looking for electronically.
What does this mean when they say there's been no disciplinary action or complaints over the past 3 years? Does that mean there might have been some in 4 years or 5 years?
Says an audit is not designed to provide assurance on internal control or to identify deficiencies in internal control. However, during the audit, we will communicate to management and those charged with governance. Wynette, you work for Derry. They apparently did the town of Derry. Are you familiar at all with?
They have, to the best of my knowledge, they have a very good reputation and have done a great job with
Mhm.
the financial audits.
And the other town you worked with?
Meredith.
They did Merrimack also.
Meredith.
Meredith,
Oh.
you said.
Okay, Meredith. Okay.
Yep.
We'll bring this up again next week.
Does anybody on board have a problem with me showing this to Mr. Daniel that was in here and getting his expertise?
I don't. Do you, Asha?
What? What was the question?
He's asking whether any member of the board would mind if he showed this to the individual that he had in to discuss auditing a couple weeks back.
Yeah,
I
it's
am-
just a proposal. Anyone can look at it. I mean, the public can look at it.
Okay? All right, let's go, Work session is on the list. Do you have any items to bring up under the work session?
I had a question on the agenda. You had a work session. I don't see any topic on it. Normally, a work session is if the Board of Commissioners are working on an item, and then we have a work session and we're going to discuss that item.
Okay,
But we're working on it. And usually, the topic should be on the agenda, what we were working on it. Are we going to work on the old nursing home? Or are we going to work something on the farm? That is a work session.
there are 3 outstanding items. One is I passed out the short and long-range plan that I asked for you to review, add, subtract, change, whatever. Number 1. Number 2, I've also given members of the board the 3 union contracts to look at and review. And 3, the RFP for, yes, went into paper regarding the old nursing home. As far as I know, we have not had any communication with anyone interested at this point in time.
We had no calls also?
Not-
Nobody
not
called
that I-
in?
Not that I'm aware of.
And it's on the website also, is
Yep.
that correct?
Yep. It went to the Concord Monitor and to the Forster's Daily Democrat, I believe.
For how long is this RFP running?
It only ran for a very short period of time because of the cost. But it also, I believe in those newspapers, they have a website that they put on for a period of time also. So does anybody else have anything to add to the work session?
Yes.
Go ahead.
A very petty one. Is there any chance that we can get someone to fix the clock? It's been not working for as long as I can remember, not working properly.
All the-
Anyway,
Which one?
this one right here, it's 10
Okay.
minutes slow.
I want to say all the clocks here have a different time.
The important issue we have here is a note from, I don't want to go through all your paperwork, Dave, but you had it here from CNT and what we were going to do about it. Here it is here.
Oh, okay, yep.
It's my recollection, this has to do with the
With the movement.
the thermostats that were moved at the nursing home, is it not?
Yep,
And didn't we take a vote that we weren't gonna pay it?
that's correct.
So
They keep billing us.
the note is, Kathy, have the commissioners made a decision on this invoice? Yes, we made it some time ago that we were not gonna pay it.
That's right.
So they're sending a bill again, is that?
Yep. No interest on it, is it?
Did we send them a letter that we're not going to pay? Or did you just call and notify them?
I think they were called.
My recollection is Bob came in and said that he sent them a letter.
Okay.
But that's just my recollection, and it's not all that good. But I know he had some communication with them. I was interested in what you said this morning, Dave, about being at the conference, and what are the drawbacks to having an administrator? One was you can't get rid of them if they're no good. It's difficult. What else? Does it
depends.
politicize the system?
It's another bureaucracy, another step that they have to, any individual has to go through. Their role has to be very finely determined as to what their role is. Some administrators can become a dictator if they're not controlled or not understood in the contract when they're hired as to who is responsible. They are responsible for management, the commissioners are responsible for leadership as far as policy and so forth. Benefit, instead of the commissioners taking the heat, they take the heat, is one benefit. They're here full-time, so employees can go to them at any point in time. They can follow up on a lot of the projects that may be going on. Their cost, these were some of the big counties in the United States, so their cost could be tremendous. Something rings a bell in my mind that it was like 140 to 150,000 plus benefits. Sometimes it's good to hire a local person so that they know the area, they know the people. I'd have to go back and look at my
Okay.
Yes, I have a comment. You mentioned it is hard to get rid of the person if the person is no good.
If it's not in the contract.
So, in the contract, there is no probation period, because you can put it in the contract.
Oh, yeah, I said you'd have to make sure the contract is written properly. And they also suggested that you go to a firm that helps you select the individual, or a finding, what do they call it?
Headhunter.
A headhunter, right. Okay, anything else?
No. Oh,
Any
just
further
wanna-
development, I should ask Howie, on the wellness trail?
No, there hasn't been that I know of.
I just want to touch base quick about the IT. Excuse me, the IT committee. Do we already have the people from the county who's going to be on the IT committee? Did we already put that
If
together?
they, as far as I know, it was the ones that were previously on the committee representing each of the departments.
And was it
And that Becky
management?
Mason was offered to be the chairman of that committee.
And was it all management who's on the committee? From each department, is it management who's on it? I think maybe if we're having outside people want to be on the IT committee.
I guess
that we maybe have to have a advisory committee set up. That we have one IT committee for just the people here from the county and the state reps,
Mhm.
and an advisory committee if there are people from outside.
I guess the question, you raise a good point, as to who should be on it. It was an internal county complex committee when it was first established. Should there be outside advisory committee? I guess that's up for discussion. I don't know. Any feelings on that?
Why do you need an outside advisory board?
Because we have only the people from the county on the ID committee, and if other people want to participate, that we maybe should have an advisory board. Another advisory committee, IT committee.
As far as I know, we only have one outside person that would like to participate, and it's the gentleman from Brewster Academy, and I don't see why you'd set up a whole nother committee for that. And even if we included the gentleman from Stratford County, it's still only two more. The problem I see is if you have just a county personnel on it, how wide is what is their breadth of knowledge of the IT field? I mean, we need a couple of experts that can help guide us through this thing.
That's why we need
I
those
would-
advisors.
I would think that the IT committee, internal IT committee, could have a consultant, and the guy from Stratford County that Melissa Siemens had organized, could come and advise that committee as to what the direction that we should be moving into. And you said there was another guy from Brewster Academy?
The gentleman that runs, they have a 4-person department at Brewster for their
Mhm.
IT. And he would he's helped other places, and he said he'd be willing to
Okay.
help out.
They could be consultants to the committee?
It
rather
could be
than
whatever.
another committee?
I would venture to say they probably have as much knowledge or more than any member that would be on the committee, with the exception of maybe John and Rich.
Yeah. John is a consultant to the committee.
I think State Rep Cordelli is also on
What's
IT
that?
version.
What?
State Rep Cordelli,
Godelli?
he's also IT version.
Well, we've got 4 or 5 people that could be consultants to that committee. Anything else?
Well, maybe that's a good idea, when an idea comes up, at least if you had 3 people that really knew what they were talking about, Cardelli and the other 2 gentlemen, maybe we could get a wider opinion of what to do.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to it, I just think to have them as a ambulatory committee doesn't make much sense, because why don't they sit on the committee so they can help the committee members?
Okay, any other items?
No.
Today,
We've got,
This is yours.
we've got a bill here from Jackson and Lewis, attorneys at law. I'm wondering if we should talk about this during non-public session, because it deals with,
I don't understand the charges. Maybe we should call him.
well, those are the ones that he gave back to us.
Which one?
He had,
I see 3, I think he put like 3 charges. If you see?
those
The
are
charges
those are the
came in.
more detailed ones on the front?
There is a total amount and he put 3 charges in. So he took 1 charge out, is that what you're saying?
No, all I'm saying is those are the detail. Commissioner Babson, you asked for the detail, right?
yes,
That
because
is
I
not
wondered
really
why we
detailed.
got 2 bills.
Where is the other building?
You got the other bill?
No, we signed it. If it's the same one.
This is Jackson and Lewis. This.
You want to look further into that? Before we pay it? Okay, let's,
David, I'd like to discuss it, and I don't know whether this legally falls under
non-public,
under non-public or not.
maybe a contract. We hired him to handle that case. I believe a portion of that was, or should have been charged to the delegation. I believe that case went to the personnel committee of the delegation. He represented us there.
No, look, this is a different one. This is a different one.
Okay.
started out with that one, and moved to that one there. And that's part of the problem right there.
You want the
There's a
note?
reason
There
why,
is a note here.
yeah,
From who is
you
this note?
apparently changed the attorney.
Phone call.
Let's do a
So
little bit
we-
more research on that one before we approve it. Do you have anything for us this morning?
I do, I have two
Okay.
of the 4 policies. I believe that Norm had put in front of you before, and you asked to have them reviewed. There, 2 of them I still would like to have some legal opinion on that.
Okay.
And the other 2 are the county employment practices policy, that would be a part of the reference guide.
Mhm.
And there's, I believe there's a copy for each of you there. I believe you've seen them already, though. And I reviewed that, and it looks to be pretty comprehensive and would fit in with the practices.
Did you make any changes to it?
I did not. And that's the next one. The next one is the Carroll County procedure for suspension and/or discharge or removal of an employee and for Board of Commissioners hearings, which was in accordance with the RSA. And I felt that that also, Deb did a very good job of following up and looking at other counties and ensuring that it was in compliance with our CBAs and our policies also. And I felt both of those were acceptable to have the board take a look at them and approve them.
Can we go over them next week? Because I like to read it.
And then the other 2, I would like to, again, have those looked at, because one is a 91A, the county request, so I want to make sure that that is
So
legally.
which one are you going to look at? You're going to look at 2? If you
Yeah,
have
2
them?
that
Okay.
we're still, I believe you had received copies of those, but I would still like to have further time to have those looked at.
You-
Yep.
Wynette, right off the bat, paragraph 2, the position may be posted both departmentally and throughout the county complex for an additional 5 workdays. Is that, you mentioned 5 workdays up above departmentally, so are you just saying that it's going to be another 5 days if we decide to have it throughout the county, or going to be a 10-day period if it's going countywide, or it's either not necessary or confusing, one of the 2? Maybe both.
May be then posted both departmentally and throughout the complex for an additional 5 workdays.
So it may be, but not
Maybe,
necessarily.
not necessarily.
Well, I would think at the time that we're posting the job that we'd know whether we were going to put it up for just departmental or throughout the county. And if it's throughout the county, then why not just say countywide advertising will be 10 days? I mean, that's what you're saying, right?
Which may be, and I would believe that through the CBAs, it would be in departmentally first and then go out for the additional.
That's how it works?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that just, even though everyone is not covered by a CBA, that would incorporate what the
Okay,
agreements
that
say.
makes sense. And I would scratch in the next paragraph in local papers. You ought to have the right to put it in any paper you
Really?
want, right there.
Advertise in papers, period,
Yeah.
just not say local. Yep, we could do
That would be my suggestion.
Any other quick items you have picked up? It looks like demotions on number 5. In A, you may be demoted to an open position in a lower class under the following circumstances. And then you got B, C, D, and E. Shouldn't that be a little different? It's not an A, it's not a,
Yeah, so actually it should be another bullet
Yeah.
underneath versus that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can fix that.
But the jail have their own policies. This is not for the jail, correct?
I guess, yeah, have you reviewed the contracts to,
And I have not reviewed each and every contract to go along
Yeah.
with this, but Deb, I'm going by with what Deb had said, that she did the research on, so I can definitely take a look at that.
I think, yeah,
To see.
I think we need to look at that, and that may bring up some areas that we can change in the union contract, if that's
Mhm.
appropriate.
Promotions on the last line. County will strive to fill job vacancies from within whenever possible with a candidate to present the best qualifications. Why is that sentence needed? I'm gonna take the best we're gonna put the best qualified person in the job anyway, right?
Anyway,
But I think the
Does that
point
feel
was,
good?
the point was to make sure that we give our employees, present employees, the opportunity to fill the position.
So,
if
why do you
From
need that,
within-
why do you need that sentence? Still haven't explained that. We're gonna hire the best candidate we have. It may be from within, it may be from without.
You may want to look at the union contracts on that. I'm not sure whether that is stated in there or not, about hiring from within the ranks. I think the jail has something in there to that effect.
which they would do promotions from within or hire from,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
that may be why she added that line, so that it would cover whatever contractual language is in there.
yeah, yeah,
Including, though, that it would be the best qualified person.
Yep. yeah.
It just amazes me what goes into some of this stuff that just, if you transfer from one place to another within the county, why would anybody think that anything other than you're gonna keep your vacation time and your other benefits? I mean, I would think that was a given.
Unfortunately, sometimes people assume things, so you do want to
Yeah,
have
I
it
know.
in writing.
Yeah. Okay, you want to take some time to review this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again? And what about this other one?
With
Yeah, and
questions, if we have questions.
Yep,
we'll-
absolutely, I would welcome you to come and talk about these, as obviously I did not author them, but Deb had done extensive research into creating those.
I would think that, one of the things I think we've been a little laxed on is when we notify people of a hearing, or we send out a warning or anything like that we need to send it certified mail to make sure that they get it. I know we had a problem with one person wasn't accepting it from one address, it was the wrong address, he claimed it was the wrong address. I think any notification that goes out ought to be, I think, by certified mail. I'm not sure how the rest of the board feels about
I
it.
feel that way.
And I believe in that situation, the certified mail was sent, and it was sent to both
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
post office box and the legal residence,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And it was certified. So, yeah, I agree. If it's anything that's in serious nature, that it absolutely does need to be certified.
Yes, I asked for it on one occasion, if it was certified.
Okay, I think we need to look at that one again, too.
Or in hand, make sure that they are receiving it in hand.
Anything else?
No, that's it for so far. Still getting settled in and just able to start looking at some of those other things now that I
Okay.
can find my desk.
You got copies of the union contracts, right?
Yes, yeah.
And we got notification from the sheriff's department, and you probably ought to keep these,
Yeah.
this particular one.
That they are opening.
From the Teamsters Union,
Mhm.
and we got notification, and check with Debbie, because I think she's got them.
This one I did get a copy of.
You did get a copy of that
Yeah, I did
one?
get a copy of that one, so
Okay.
the board wants to, I mean, the commissioners would like to keep that.
Did you get copies from the union that represents a jail and a nursing home?
I have not, that's the only one that I
I
have so
think,
far.
ask Debbie, I think
Mhm.
she must have gotten it. Seems like,
Yeah.
I remember her saying that she'd received it.
Or from Kathy, who I know sometimes
Kathy,
things go
yeah.
from Kathy's, but I'll check with both of them and make sure that any documentation comes
Mm-hmm,
to my office.
okay. Anything else? No? Okay.
So far.
Thank you.
you.
Anybody else got anything to bring up this morning? No? Open it up for public comment?
Steve Brown, everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Steve.
The infrastructure and the no-interest municipal bonds you were speaking of,
Yeah.
that's just directly to that solar program,
No,
correct?
no. Had nothing to do with the solar program. The municipal bonds is where individuals buy or pay into this so that communities can get a bond. And it's those people that would be charged interest. So what would happen is they wouldn't invest in bonds because they're gonna get charged interest. Right now, it's interest-free.
No.
It's on anything.
Excuse me, David.
Yeah.
It's taxes, not interest.
I'm sorry, taxes, right. It could be schools, it could be water. In fact, I think part of our, in Carroll County, was regarding the water district up in North Conway, when they put in that new treatment center. They got, I'm sure, got municipal bonds. Go ahead.
Can you clarify that now? It's taxes?
I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll give you this.
Municipal bonds and state bonds are tax-free.
A tax-free.
Yeah.
Tax-free to the purchaser of the bond.
Right,
What it appears to me, just briefly looking at it, that Congress is looking at making municipal bonds, setting a threshold, and over and above that, you would pay taxes on.
right. They're looking for income, federal government.
And this hasn't started yet?
No.
They're
No,
looking
it's
into
being
it?
discussed, along with charitable contributions, and there was one other, and I didn't catch the other one. There was 3 areas that they were looking into in order to increase their revenue. Ed?
Taxation is theft. That's
Well-
my comment on that.
Yep. Are you clear, Mr. Brown?
I guess on that, I have a couple more, but if
Okay.
you want to go with...
You got something, David?
Well, just to have to do with the bond issue, I was looking it up on the internet. Charles Schwab has a article on it, and it says basically, here's an example of what it would do. For an investor in the 35% tax bracket, would pay a 7% federal tax on interest income received from the municipal bonds.
All right.
There would be no impact for investors at the 28% marginal income tax bracket or lower.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, at your conference, did they talk about Detroit at all?
About what?
Detroit's bankruptcy.
No.
Also, I found it curious that the commissioners were advertising the RFP for the old nursing home in Foster's and Concord Monitor, you'd think you'd want to do that more locally too.
I would also say that it was sent out to some individuals like probation, like homeless, and also to health and welfare. Because health and welfare, we're looking for a central.
Human services.
What?
Health and human services.
Health and Human Services, because they were looking for a facility here.
They
So
still
the
looking.
RFP was sent to them also. Anybody, you got something else, Mr. Brown?
Yes, those RFPs that you were talking about from those accounting firms, so the county wasn't audited in 2011, 2012?
They were, financial statements were made, but apparently it was not audited.
And that's
They-
a requirement under the RSA, is it not?
That's my understanding.
So how come that requirement wasn't fulfilled?
It was a new law that went into effect within the last couple of years. I'd have to check with Kathy Geary, she's up on that.
And if there's been no audit for the last 2 years, how many years has there been no audit?
I believe in 2010, there was also no audit. 2010, 11, and 12.
So for a minimum of 3 years, there's been no audit? Even though the RSA requires it?
Financial statements were done and completed. And my understanding was that, in fact, they're still working on 2012.
Financial statements are not an audit.
I didn't say they were. I
Okay.
just said that the auditing was looking at the financial statements.
And also, these vehicles that you're storing down in Wakefield for years on end.
First I heard of it,
Are these registered and insured? And even if they are insured, I don't think, as if, for example, if a tree were to fall on them, that the vehicle insurance would even cover that. So who's liable for these vehicles being stored down in Wakefield for years on end?
well, it's difficult to answer that question because I was just made aware of it this morning that we had such a vehicle and that it was an unmarked vehicle. We used to have a pickup truck that was unmarked, that was out here, and I believe that's now being used by the jail. This is the first I knew we had a van, an unmarked vehicle, that was stored down in Wakefield.
Well, that's not
Why
the only
wasn't it
vehicle
stored
that's
here?
stored down there.
Apparently, they must have had some mechanical problems, and it was put there by the previous sheriff. You know
pay
as
a
much about
storage?
it as I do, I guess, right now.
Do you pay us storage?
I don't believe so.
Why not? We contribute nearly $1 million a year to the county. We ought to be getting something back for our tax dollars. Maybe the county should start paying Wakefield storage fees for all the vehicles that you're storing down there.
We used to store vehicles down there, and now we're storing them out in the barnyard because they were charging us. Apparently, this, is it Cowell's? Crowell's. Apparently, they have not, maybe there's an agreement with the sheriff's department because of an unmarked vehicle that it wasn't stored here on the complex. Don't know any more than you do. Go ahead,
I
Commissioner.
was just gonna say, Steve, how do you expect us to know whether we're paying storage fees or not when you just heard us say the first word we heard about this truck was the gentleman sitting right here this morning? We have no idea. The past 2 or 3 sheriffs in this county have run practically autonomously, and we have no idea. I can't tell you whether it was down. That's the first I've heard of it. You heard my question. Was it registered and insured?
But this isn't the first vehicle, Commissioner Babson.
I wasn't here for any of the other vehicles.
Well, explain that. What other vehicles are you talking about?
There's a Hummer down there still,
Oh.
correct?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that's been topic that you've been here, Commissioner Babson, that there was a Hummer for at least 2 years, and you were sitting right here when this was discussed, that there was a
Yes.
Hummer down there.
Yes.
So
We've
that's
never
my-
verified that it was
Sheriff,
there,
would
but
you
there
check
was
on
certainly a
Hummer
rumor that it was
and
there.
find out what's going on?
So the Hummer where? Okay.
The Hummer apparently, they had 2
We
Hummers.
still have it, and is it still down?
One of them is in the
Rumor was it was
garage,
in Wakefield.
and the other one is down in Wakefield. I think they were offering that to the Wakefield Police Department. You live in Wakefield,
But we don't want to incur all the costs that go along with the free goods
Oh, okay,
from the federal government.
okay. Well, that was done by a previous sheriff. Again, yes, we found out about it after we received it, and probably found out about it after it was in the paper. As Commissioner Babson said, the previous sheriff's department, they ran their own thing. Not true now. Ed?
Is there a countywide list, of items that you have? An inventory? Is there a county inventory?
We have an inventory of weapons. Yes, we have an inventory of farm equipment.
Well, wouldn't vehicles be on that? I mean, do you know exactly what
Vehicles,
the county has?
I'm sure the sheriff's department has a list of vehicles.
Well, it sounds like we don't have one because we didn't.
They have one, we probably don't.
Oh, so it's kept separate and you don't know what each department has and
That
nobody
was-
ever comes together?
That's the way it was done in the past.
Okay.
Well, the inventory for IT several years ago,
Yep.
that was all put together in one place.
Point of order,
Yes,
on the subject of the van,
yep.
is that a topic certainly that should have been shared with the public, being a undercover vehicle?
That should have been shared with the public. I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
That would be,
obviously, they kept it in Wakefield and away from the complex for that reason.
could have been. Or it could have broke down and was put there to be fixed, and it was never fixed because it was too expensive. I don't know.
It's just speculation on my
Yep.
part.
Yep. Could very well be. Yep, go ahead.
Ask Mr. Brown a question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Brown, do you know where these are stored down in Wakefield? Are they by the safety building, or are they at Crowell's, or where are they?
It's my understanding that it's behind the safety building, and it's like a little halfway between the safety building. There's like a trail or almost like a fire road, if you will. And they're down in there where they have the kennel down there also.
They fenced in?
No, just the kennel is for the dog pound or whatever you wanna call it, but
Yeah.
that's it. I don't, no, let me retract.
Portion of it is fenced in, but the other portion isn't. There was some
Right,
vehicles that I
well,
knew
yeah, I
of.
think there's a small portion of it that may be fenced
Yeah.
in, but.
Okay, anything further?
During the minute session, I thought I heard something about minutes not being sealed.
No, in the minutes, it showed that they weren't sealed. In the minutes, the way the minutes were written up, they were sealed.
They're sealed. Well, I was just reading the right to know law.
We're correcting the minutes
We
of
just
the
approved.
non-public, and we will add in there that they were sealed.
The right to know law says something about a recorded vote of 2/3 of members present within the 72 hours. So if it wasn't recorded, then it doesn't count.
If it wasn't recorded?
When you go to take the minutes, you
Yeah.
have to record the vote. But then, it says, minutes and decisions reached in non-public session
This one.
shall be publicly disclosed within 72 hours of the meeting, unless by a recorded vote of 2/3 of the members present, it is determined that divulgence of the information likely would affect adversely the reputation of any other member of the public, blah, 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 blah.
I understand what you're saying. All I'm saying right now is, we're approving non-public minutes that were done back in March, and that it was sealed, but it was not in the minutes, and we are correcting the minutes, okay?
These two are sealed.
Okay, but I think this recorded vote, I think that's a big deal. Or, I'm not a legal expert, but I'm just noting that the law calls for a recorded vote.
That's what happens when we don't
get
keep
the
our
minutes.
minutes up to date. When we go to approve the minutes as typed, we have to correct them. If we did it the following meeting, we wouldn't be in this situation. Mr. Brown?
To the minute situation, to go back to what I know I've previously stated before, is that you should come out of non-public, go back into public, and then seal them in. That, if you did it that way,
Then the
that would
public would know.
give you an additional method, if you will, that you would catch that they were not recorded in the non-public. If you come out of non-public, we'll go back into public, then seal them, that's just another safeguard to make sure that it's done correctly.
You're correct.
So
Yes.
maybe,
We can do that, but there are two ways. We can also seal them in non-public.
You can do it both ways,
There are
but you're
two
right.
ways.
It would be an
an
extra,
additional safeguard.
But that
Right.
would be maybe better if we also have it in a public minutes.
okay, anything else to be brought up? Ed?
I didn't hear a clear answer. Commissioner Kenney, are all the minutes that are in discussion right now, are they all sealed?
Two
They would-
are sealed and one is not sealed. I believe we forget to seal one.
Forget to put it in the minutes that they
No,
were
no, no.
sealed.
We forget to seal them. We didn't seal them. I believe these two are sealed.
And what is the date of the one that is not sealed?
It is March.
March 13th.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, were not those minutes of that meeting being tape recorded? Couldn't we check and see if
Yeah?
we've had a practice of sealing the minutes?
Two camps of employees, a lot of strife. To me, it might be able to be released. I see nothing in there that would cause it not to be.
We forget to seal
Mr.
them.
Brown?
Oh,
Okay, Ed?
No, I'm just saying technically, they have to be released if they weren't sealed after 72 hours.
All we're doing is we're looking at the meeting minutes. They were sealed when it was done, but the minutes weren't typed then. Now they're typed, now we're saying they were sealed, but it's not in there. Okay? It was voted to seal them, but it was not typed into the minutes.
I wouldn't want that to go out in the public.
You don't?
So I guess the question is a recorded vote just having that in the minutes, or is a recorded vote when it's recorded, where all three commissioners have voted to sign it?
At approval, we sign it, but if we are in non-public session, if we seal it, we need to say that in the motion, and then it comes in the minutes. When they don't say that, it's not there.
So when
I
it's
cannot put it
only
in.
sealed by you saying that you
In the
sealed it,
motion,
it's not
in
sealed
the
by a
motion,
signature.
and then we're taking a roll call vote.
So it shows in the minutes that a
It
roll
will
call
show.
vote was taken
Yeah,
and
roll
the
call
minutes
vote
were sealed.
taken and the minutes
Right.
were sealed. It will say that.
So
if
why did
it
you
is
say that it
sealed.
wasn't sealed? before.
Mr. Kenny's the one that said it wasn't sealed.
Yeah.
Because it was not sealed. I cannot put it in. I believe these two were sealed.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, moving on.
were the minutes
Yep.
sealed or not?
They were sealed. I'm going to tell you one more time. The minutes at that meeting were sealed. Now they're being typed up, and they were not included in the typewritten minutes. Okay?
What was not included?
That they were sealed.
Well, then how do you know they were sealed? That's my I'm a little confused, that's all.
Do you understand that we can change the minutes, correct the minutes at the next meeting? Correct?
We approved them.
We can correct the minutes in our next meeting. Any minutes. The minutes that we took today, we'll look at them next week, and we will correct them and approve them. Correct?
Yes, but the original minutes have to be sealed or released in 72 hours, the original minutes.
You cannot
You can
correct
amend
if
them later, you could go next week and amend and change if you have corrections, but after that 72-hour period is done, that is immovable.
you cannot correct if it was not sealed and just put on it was sealed. So that sealing, you cannot do nothing with. It has to be in the minutes.
Where did you
need
come
to
up
be
with those
sealed.
notes to write up the minutes?
I have those notes, and it was not sealed.
What you're saying is it wasn't in your notes.
It was not, I know it was not sealed, because I always put it in. Everything what is sealed, I put in.
You know, from now on, we have a non-public meeting. The next week, we've got to have those minutes,
Yeah, it will happen from now on.
and they've got to be corrected the next week and not wait until, here we are in
3 months
July,
later.
and we're
Yeah.
looking at March minutes.
But you know
That's
what
one of our
but you
major
know what
problems,
happened,
and I
because-
hope it gets corrected now that we've got a recording
Because you know what
secretary.
happened? Commissioner Babson said that he heard somewhere that the minute taker, or if we hired somebody, can do the non-public minutes. There was so much critics, so I said, I'm not doing the non-public minutes anymore. If we have a new person, she was going to do it. But it took a long while before we had somebody, nothing happened. So that's why I follow up and doing the minutes now. That's why we are a little.
Any
behind.
further comment by anybody else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I just want to say something quick.
Yep.
Saturday, July 27 is Farm Day.
Yep.
So I hope to see everyone there. Everyone is invited. It's open to everyone.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a
Yeah.
motion to adjourn.
And Asha, you second?
10:26. Second.
All those in support of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye. Release it, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, reopen up the meeting of the commissioners to take action on the non-public minutes of March 13th, 2013. Go ahead, Commissioner Babson.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the non, oh. no.
Not yet.
Let's discuss it first, and then, when you redact the name, does that mean we can print these minutes with the names out of here, or do we black mark them out and pass them around?
I think they ought to be retyped with the names taken out.
I can take the names out.
Is that the legal way to do it?
I think I'm going to make a copy and just take the names out and release it like that.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we may open up the non-public minutes of March 13th with a stipulation that Commissioner Kenney remove the names of the parties listed here that are involved in the discussion.
I'll second it. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in support of the motion? Is this gotta be a roll call?
No,
Let's make it a roll call so nobody can argue with it.
All
we
those,
don't need a roll call for that. For releasing, we don't.
the request is a roll call, so we'll have a roll call. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
And make a roll call.
Commissioner Babson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Yes.
Commissioner Kenney.
How did you vote, Commissioner Kenney?
Good, yes.
You didn't say it very loudly.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Good.
All right,
So the released non-public minutes of March 13 will be available in the office. Just a little bit.
Okay. Stop by in an hour or two.
What?
there's nothing in it. Once you take the names out, it doesn't mean an awful lot, I don't think.
Non-public minutes usually are fake. No, there is not much in
Okay,
it.
motion to adjourn, second adjourning?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the second time.
Commissioner Kenney, you said vague, right?
Yeah,
I
fake.
thought you said fake.
Oh, no, no, not fake. No, they're real. All this work and they're fake? No.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 We'll have a new time.
No non-public?
We have 10:32. No, we're doing great. We had no non-public last week and we have no non-public this week.
That's a record.